Hello, and welcome to another weekly reading. I just recently redid my altar space. It's nice and organized and neat and very intentional for the various things that I was intending it for. And I just wondered if you make altar spaces, because these are very beautiful spaces to have. And I create a little mini altar space every time I do a reading by just setting up some intentional things that work for me. In my burner right now, I have this interesting combination that I've never had before, which is cinnamon, petitgrain, and tangerine. I was just teaching at one of the schools I teach aromatherapy this weekend, and it always inspires me because it doesn't matter that I've been working with essential oils for 20 years. Different people have different ideas, and even if they are young people, students, teenagers, I feel like I get inspired by teaching and learning from the people I'm teaching. So anyway, this is a new blend that I have in the diffuser because of that, and a whole heap of different crystals here and a whole heap here as we go into this Aquarian full moon this week. And I feel like Aquarius is so inclusive and really wants to make a difference in the world for everyone. And so we've got whole different families of crystals, all different races and colors and creeds and genders, one might say. And yes, so we've got two citrus oils, tangerine and petitgrain are both citrus, and then a spice. So citrusy and spicy, and it smells delicious, just so you know. Remember, this is not a personal reading, so I want you to pick a card between 1 and 4, and the one that you pick is going to give you a little extra personalized slant. But if you're looking for a personal reading, feel free to look at the links below to get in touch. I also want to link the Aquarius full moon forecast I did here so that you also can look at that and see if there's anything useful for it for you. And we have got Mercury retrograde still all of this week. He will station direct on Monday next week, but then we'll still have 3 weeks of post shade of that retrograde. And then the other thing I want to point out, aside from Women's Day, which is this week, is that it is Lion's Gate portal on the 8th. So for anybody who knows what that is or uses Lion's Gate portal, we're already in it. And it will go until the 11th, so we can use that all week. It's been active already for a while, and it's still active, but the 8th, 7th, 8th, I think this year particularly, are the most powerful days if you want to use that portal for acceleration of your manifestation. Okay, have you picked a number? Let's jump in. I didn't check back, but I really feel like last week we had upside down cards on the outside and right way up cards on the inside, as we have this time. I'm actually going to slide them a little closer together because I want to look at the energy of the way the energy is flowing. And we've got two wands cards and two swords cards. So fire and air, those are both yang elements. This is a busy week. However, two of those are upside down, and this is a fast moving card usually, and this is a quick new beginning, and both of those are upside down. And when a fast card is upside down, it usually doesn't quite have the speed and momentum that it might otherwise have. So I want you to notice how the energy of this card is really like bursting in all directions. And the energy of this card is also very circuitous, although the shooting out point is coming what would be up if it were upright, but now down. And I feel like that is very key to the fact that we need to stay in our bodies. We need to keep grounded and in our bodies. All the stuff that is coming down, channeling, especially in Lion's Gate portal with this mind expanding Aquarius full moon. Like, there is so much coming at us from outside of ourselves and from above us and from the frequencies and the cosmos and all that. If we don't know how to ground it, we are going to feel turned around. It's like somebody's just done a little spin and you don't know up from down anymore. And I feel like that's why these two particularly, it's like overthinking, overanalyzing, just getting completely paralyzed by thinking yourself into fear spirals. See the spiral? And thinking yourself into all the old patterning and just getting frozen, literally in freeze mode in your nervous system. And here also, either acting too quickly, retracting. And this is, again, this has quite a lot to do with Mercury retrograde, because it is like stop and think again, or slow the thinking, or rehash something. So it might be that some of these things that are getting us paralyzed by fear are coming up for us to look at them properly, so that we can realize that is not as scary as it used to be when I was a child. I'm actually no longer afraid of that big scary thing that hides behind my curtain, because I know that it's in my imagination. I know that I made up the monster under the bed. So maybe I need to stop still being afraid of something whenever I open a curtain, for example. And this one really is saying that, where there would be this like bounding forth with beautiful enthusiasm, now it's like either being stuck in indecision, or doing something and then sort of stop starting. I have this very like glitching kind of feeling. Go up, pause, go up, pause, like just not having, it's gritty. It's not, and when I say gritty, I don't mean gritty like you have grit and determination. I mean gritty like you're trying to screw a lid onto something and there's something icky in there, and it's making a horrible noise every time you turn that lid. It's like, oh, there's sand in the threads or something. I need to sort this out. I need to grease this wheel. So even if you're trying to speed, it just doesn't feel like it's quite working. And so I feel like on either side of this reading, there's these different places where we're feeling our resistance. We're trying to get forward. We're trying to take the next right step. We're trying to make decisions. We're trying to get inspired, but we're just feeling a little bit like not. And also, I think old stuff coming to the surface. And I think so much new stuff, whether you know it or not, you are absorbing like a sponge all the new frequencies that are coming into this planet. And it's so much new stuff coming in, and it's pushing the old stuff so that it needs to come up and out, because there's only so much room, and we need to be able to metabolize. So it's uncomfortable, but for me, I really feel like in my own personal life, I feel like it's clearing space, but it doesn't feel nice. What I like here is that we have two different perspectives of moving forward. So with the Six of Swords, she's accepted that she has to change. She's accepted that she has to move on to another shore, that she has to leave something behind. She's accepted that with leaving some things behind, some of the people she was hoping would come along with her are not. And then some of the people maybe she didn't expect are. So there are always people. I'm saying people and we're looking at ravens, but you know what I'm saying. There are always support people and energies in your life, even if it is your pets or if it is unseen. As I say that, my little black cat has just come right next to me. So you will always have support, but there are aspects that need to be let go of, people that need to be let go of, situations, ideals, dreams that you had that need to be let go of anytime you step into a new thing. You leave a job, you leave something that's known, you leave the colleagues you didn't like and the colleagues you did, you leave all those dynamics, and a lot of them you don't want to leave, but some of them you do. And then you step into a new unknown job and it's like, oh my gosh, this is harder than I thought. I don't know any of these people. I don't know which ones are pretending to be my friends and actually are trying to stab me in the back because they wanted this position, like all those complexities that you don't know. And it's overwhelming. And so there's always going to be those kinds of feelings in transitions where I'm not comfortable yet where I am, and I'm sad to leave behind what I knew, the comfort zone, so to speak. But remember, there's no growth in the comfort zone and there's no comfort in the growth zone. So it is an uncomfortable place, but she's quite resigned for it. She's accepted that that's what it is, and she's wrapped herself in a little grounding red cocoon scarf feel to be like, okay, I've got to make the hard choice right now. I've got to move into the next thing. But then here is a similar energy with a very different perspective. She's taken it on. The Knight of Wands has taken this on as like an adventure. And she's like, this is going to be so much fun. I'm going to celebrate getting the new job. I'm going to celebrate as I have a farewell to leave behind the old job. I can stay friends with the people from the old work that I want to, and I can just wave goodbye to the ones I don't ever have to deal with again. This is amazing. I'm going to celebrate that I don't know what I'm doing in my new job, and this is such an adventure and a space of new learning. This is exciting. So in effect, it is two sides of the same thing. And I don't think well, I mean, you may be more of a this person or more of a that person, but I don't think it's about that. I think it's about when we're going through any kind of growth, there are days when we can see the positive silver lining, the excitement of a new adventure, and we're like, I am winning at life. I am doing this thing. And then the very next day, and sometimes the very next minute, we can feel more like this, because healing and growth, it's not linear. It's on a spiral. It's actually on a spiral, and you keep going around and round. And what you find at this point of the spiral is probably the same at this point and this point. It's just a higher turn. So it's like trouble, great, excitement, joy, grief, all the different circling things that just go round and round and round and round. And so I feel like with all the circuitous type of energy on the outsides of this reading, that we might be cycling through these. We might have these days where we're feeling very despondent and sad, and like have that pity party. Don't get stuck there. And then we'll have these moments where we're like, I am so amazing. I am so proud of me. I am doing this thing. I am taking that leap, and I am celebrating life. And we'll feel so good about it. But then the very next moment, we might be back into this one. And that's not failing, or really, it's not stepping back, even though the card is behind. It's more a case of realizing I'm cycling through all the feelings, and this is how I feel them. And the more I resist allowing myself to feel joyful and pleasure, because maybe I think I'm supposed to just be miserable about this situation. And I've used the job as an analogy. You can fit that into your life any way you choose. Or maybe, if you're naturally quite a pessimistic person and the glass is half empty for you, you may not know how to easily jump back into that place. And when you're here, you might quickly jump back into the pessimistic glass. And if you're naturally a positive person, you might feel more comfortable in the positive and then think, what is wrong with me that I'm feeling negative? There's nothing wrong. We have to experience all these different emotions. And it doesn't matter. You might be a positive person because you've been conditioned to be such. You might be because you were supposed to be the good girl. So you got so used to making that perspective that made everybody else happy around you, going into fawn or pleaser mode. Maybe that's why you're always positive. And maybe as you go through this current process, you realize, you know what? I don't freaking want to be positive. I am sad. I am overwhelmed. I am scared. And that's okay. And it goes either way. So I think it's really important to let yourself cycle through these various emotions. Recognize that this is you metabolizing. This is you processing and allowing yourself to move forward from a place of more authenticity and sovereignty and self-accountability, because I know how I feel about this. I feel all of these things. They are conflicting and contradicting, and I feel all of these things, and that's okay. And then that grit in the lid that you just can't get it on properly, that stuff's going to fall away, because each one of those little grains in the lid and in the ridges of the glass, it's like here, look, like seeing all those ridges and imagining them filled with little grains so that you just can't get the lid on right. Each one of these little crystals is a little thought, a little feeling, a little pattern, a little person in your life. All of these things start to get worked through. You start to become more okay with all the parts of yourself you would have told yourself were not okay previously. And that may have been conditioned. You may have been told it wasn't okay. Big boys don't cry and good girls do this, whatever it is. But as you cycle through these things and become more accepting of the fact that big boys do cry and good girls do get mad, and all the different things to unpack those things. I can be a good girl and still get mad. I can be a strong man and have tears, and be vulnerable. These are healthy things. And once we integrate those parts of ourselves, all the little crystals into ourselves, then we accept that this is meant to be fluctuating from happy to sad and good to bad, if that's how we were taught it. There is no real good or bad. And that way we turn around. We can move forward with ease, with excitement, with passion, fast. We can turn our thinking around, which literally Mercury will be doing next week, and we can start focusing on the future, not rehashing the past. But sometimes rehashing the past is necessary. Sometimes it is. So yeah, I hope that's been helpful. I'm going to stop now. I see I'm getting really long. This card reading has pulled me into into a lot. Look at the energy flowing into this and flowing up, flowing all around and flowing up. The horse coming galloping onto the stairway and up. Yeah, lots of beautiful energy flows. Okay, I'm going to stop. Have a wonderful week and a grateful moon.